All right, now it is time for our growth studio. So each of the next 4 speakers that we have up here is an expert in one very important business skill. Each will present to you today a crash course here on the main stage. Now, you do not need Slido during these sessions, and let me explain why. Because these speakers have refused to take your questions today. No, that's not true. They're not going to take them here. Instead, they're going to kind of wet your whistle, and then we'll do a couple of different breakout sessions afterward. And based on who you hear and what stands out to you as a need for your business, that's the breakout session that you can go to and in a more intimate way have a Q&A with them. So they're going to do that, but first they're going to come through and give you a crash course on what it is that they do. So listen closely for our next 4 speakers. I'm going to give you a preview, and then I'll bring up our first. First, we have got professional organizer Marla Dee. She's going to show you her clear and simple system for being more organized and productive, no matter how many hats you might be wearing in your business. After that, we will be talking about accessing capital, which is very important. Lewis Goodwin from Square is going to give you some insider tips on what sorts of capital happen to be out there, how to decide which one might be best for you, and then the best tips for actually accessing that capital. After that, we're going to talk about social media marketing with Dave Smith from Penna Powers. He's going to show you how to make your company shine on social media. We've already hit on social media today. That's a very important topic for a lot of you here today. Finally, it's going to be a tough decision for you guys to make. Sales. Renowned sales expert Sherry Levitin is going to teach you to rehumanize your strategy and close those new leads that you have. Alrighty, so that's who we're going to hear from, these next 4 speakers, and then I'll come and let you know when you will be sent loose to pick a breakout session to go to. Right now, let's give it up for our first speaker, Marla Dee. Come on up. Together, have fun. Right now,
over me. Okay, I want to ask you a question. If I was showing a picture up here of your workspace right now, would you be excited and proud or scared to death? So I've been a professional organizer for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of pain. I've seen the chaos that's out there. And I want to start with saying in today's world, we need to be more productive than ever before, but we are also bombarded with distractions and asked to make multiple decisions, and it becomes impossible to know how to focus in our day. So since I've been a professional organizer out there, and since I know what your reality is, I'm here to be blunt and honest and say I do not define productivity as getting more done. I define it as getting what is most important done. Some of you may know Brendan Bouchard. I consider him the king of productivity. And I love this statement, the person who is most present is the most influential. Those are wise words. I believe that in order to create and have in your life that excellent level of productivity means that you have to master being present. Easier said than done in our world. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could end our workday knowing that we had done what was most important that day? Wouldn't that be a tremendous feeling? But sadly, we live in a world of distractions. This was a fun statistic that came my way just in the last week. The average user, not the heavy user, touches that sexy, sweet smartphone device 2,617 times a day. So I want to ask you, what do you think your number would be? And is touching that device helping you be more productive, or are you checking out? Great question to consider. And then, of course, we have our brains, and we have other people constantly chattering. Do you ever get that sense that if I could just have one day where my brain would get quiet and other people would leave me alone, I could actually get something done? And then, of course, we cannot forget the paper piles which are taking over our homes and offices and cars, and the email, which now it has become the norm to have thousands of emails sitting in your inbox. That's impossible to tackle. How many are in your inbox right now? So I want to offer hope. I'm going to introduce to you my 3 most powerful systems. A system saves you stress, time, energy, and money. No matter what you're doing, it makes it easier. All of you have systems that are working in your life right now. So the first one is iRaft. This is for your paper and your email. It took me 16 years to create a system that was this simple and that actually works for your paper piles and your email pane. So iRaft begins with capturing the incoming, capturing it. So in the same way that your email goes to your inbox, all of that information coming at you today needs to have a place to go. Every time management master out there says, have one notebook and carry it around with you. So those thoughts, ideas, and conversations, you have a place for that information to land so you can access it when you need it. You could also go ahead and choose your smartphone, but I'm going to say choose one place on your smartphone, label it incoming, and then be consistent in dumping the information there. Of course, there's still paper. It's not going away, people. It's just getting worse. And the most common area that I see for dumping the incoming paper is either the top of the desk or, yes, the chair. This is not a viable option. So my favorite solution is actually a wall pocket or magnetic pocket, vertical, that you can dump the paper in and also easily pull it out. The second part of the system, iRaft, I want you to just remember this by saying, drowning in a sea of paper, here's the raft to keep you afloat. Does anyone know what that feels like? The idea here is that once a week or once a day, whatever you need, you're going to pull out that pile and you're going to sort it into 4 piles. Do I need to read it, take action on it, file it, or toss it? And then rather than dealing with diving into that whole pile of paper, you now have a specific amount that needs your attention. You're going to take the reading to that container and location in your space where you read, action, file, and toss. And guess what? The percentage of papers that actually need your attention typically is 20% of the big pile. So this becomes easier. iRaft also works for email. It really does. So everything lands in the inbox, but if you set up 4 folders, read, act, file, and toss, you can actually process what's in your inbox quickly, is the idea. Okay, next system is for organizing your stuff in your space. It's called See It, Map It, Do It. Take a look at where you've been, make a plan for where you want to go, then take the actions to get there. When we think about organizing, we tend to dive into the do it step. We're going to do the see it and the map it first, and guess what we're going to talk about, people? Your computer desktop. Oh, yes, we are. What does it look like right now? This is what I typically see. So a way to do the see it exercise on this is what's working, what's not working, and why. What's working? Well, it's all there. I need it all there because I need to see everything. What's not working? Well, it's all there, and you see everything all day long, and it is distracting whether you want to admit it or not. So make a plan for what you want by asking, how do you want this to look, feel, and function when you're done? So no matter what you're organizing, you can ask this question and get insight. This is my computer desktop, and I want every time I sit down at the computer to feel like I'm working in a coffee shop because I am a coffee addict, okay? And it works, but I can also access all of the information that I need. So in the upper right of that screen, you'll see a little file folder and a cute little coffee cup that says Now Week. That's where I throw everything that I know I'm going to need this week. You can also go ahead and just set up one layer deep all your information. So I love Dropbox, and by just clicking on Dropbox, I now have the file folders with all my other information so I can access it easily and store it easily. If you come to my breakout session, we'll get into more depth on that. Okay, we're going to end with talking about your day, your precious 24 hours ahead. So Erin Elizabeth Wells, I consider the queen of productivity, and I love her words. Our day is doomed before we even start because we created either a completely unrealistic plan, that would be me, or no plan at all, maybe that's you, And what I found in my years as an organizer is the reason people don't plan is that they think it's just going to take too much time and energy. So we need a simple plan that you will do, and we need it to be strong enough that it actually is effective. So if only you can do what only you can do, here is see it, map it, do it for your day, people. If there's one thing you get out of my time, I hope you get this. See it is taking 15 minutes at the beginning of the day with yourself. How are you supposed to be productive and effective if you're not paying attention to what's going on inside of you? Map it, write down those 3 most important things, and then do it, look at your day, and decide when you're going to get those done. So this is an example from my life. If you want more depth or more information about these systems, I just want you to know it's available on the resources page of my website all the time. And I'm going to end our time today with sharing a personal piece from my life, which was 25 years ago at the tender age of 34. I landed in the hospital for the third time in 2 months, and I had a rare blood tumor, and I needed to have surgery. And in the process of going through that very stressful time, I actually had a near-death experience. And in that near-death experience, I was asked if I wanted to live or to die. I chose to live, but I heard a voice say to me, Marla, you need to learn how to sit still. Because at the tender age of 34, I was a blossoming workaholic. I really thought that the more I did, the more successful I was, the more value I had. So shortly after leaving the hospital, a friend came to me and told me she was taking a meditation class. And despite all my resistance, I signed up. And that class that I do to this day changed the course of my life. I learned how to center, how to breathe, how to feel, and how to listen to what was going on inside of me. So what I want to end this with, I wish I could look every one of you in the eye and say, you cannot be powerful in the world until you can be present with yourself. So if you will choose and claim and do a daily practice that allows you to get clear on what's most important, and when you're going to do it, it will inspire you to show up for your life and give you the courage to take those actions that otherwise we avoid. Thank you so much.